Bro, you've been squatting your soul out for years, chasing that 1 inch on your quads that never shows up. Mirror lies, shorts still hanging loose, scale stuck at 132. I was you, 5'7", 132 pounds, 7 years natty, barely being able to squat 115 pounds, legs like flamingo sticks. Then I ditched the bro science and forced my legs to explode. 12 pounds of dense lower body muscle mass over 11 months. These 5 moves, not your Instagram influencer fluff. They're the missing link for every 20 to 35-year-old natural lifter who's plateaued into oblivion. Stay to the end. Exercise 4 alone added 2 full inches to my vastus medialis in 8 weeks. Hit play, grow legs that finally shut the haters up. Hey guys, Rick Jones here. Hope you all are doing well. So today I wanted to touch upon the key exercises that you need to be doing for developing your legs. So this no doubt is going to be my least popular video just because everybody hates training legs. But at the end of the day, it's something that you need to do in order to have that overall aesthetic look when it comes to bodybuilding. So what I do is I focus primarily on my quads as well as my hamstrings and my calves. So some of you may have to do different variations in order to target certain muscle groups in your legs. I mean, for example, some of you may want to work on your glutes more, or some of you may even want to work on other key areas like your adductors or whatnot. So starting off with the squat. So your squat, you can have multiple variations. Typically what I do is 2 particular variations. So I would actually do the traditional squat and I would also do the front squat. Now the way how I set up before even performing the squat, I make sure to place the bar at approximately my chest height. I'm a pretty short guy. I mean, I am 5'7", so I just want to make sure to be able to reach the bar and it's not too high for me. Another thing that I do is on the floor, I place some weights because I like to do the squats with my heels elevated. Now, some of you may just do the squat with your feet flat on the ground. For me, if I were to proceed like that, what would happen is I would put more attention to my hamstrings and as well as my glutes. But since I'm primarily focused right now on my quads, I usually elevate my heels. So elevating the heels, what it does for me is it makes sure that I can stay upright, I can keep my back straight when I perform the squat, and I also feel a lot more tension with my quads while exercising the movement. So starting off with the traditional squat, what I want to do is I want to make sure to focus on keeping my eyes forward, keeping my face straight. And that way I just make sure that my airways are opened up so I can be able to inhale and exhale correctly when I perform the movement. Another thing that I do is I really make sure, like I said, to keep my back as straight as possible. And when I go ahead and perform the movement, there will be my knee that will be flexing. Typically, I want to go as low as possible without bending forward or bending backwards. I typically try to focus on keeping my back as straight as possible because I want to make sure to get the full focus on my quads. I don't want my back to be compensating too much when it comes to performing the exercise. I really want to target my legs as much as possible. So that's something that I make sure to keep in mind when I perform the movement. Obviously, in terms of breathing, what I do is I exhale on the effort. So as I'm going down, I typically, make sure that I go down with the controlled movement. Typically it would be approximately 5 seconds. And then after that, when I'm going to be coming back up, on the explosive part of the movement, then it will typically take me about 3 seconds. The second one would be leg press. So leg press for me is also a go-to because I can make sure to exercise my glutes, but I also get a lot of tension on my quads as well as my hamstrings. So it's a nice compound exercise where you can really go ahead and get that volume that you're looking for on the upper part of your legs. So performing the leg press, what I would do is I would sit down on the machine, obviously. When I put my feet on the pad, I want to make sure that my feet are flat on the surface, and it's probably about shoulder width. Now, you can do different variations in terms of doing the leg press depending on where you want to focus on. If you want to keep your feet closer together, you're going to have more focus on your quads. But if you move your feet slightly apart, well, then you're going to focus more on your hamstrings as well as your glutes. When you're going to be performing the movement, you want to be able to bring your feet as far back as possible, basically touching your chest if the flexibility of your body allows it. But you have to do that while making sure that your ass stays stuck to the seat. Now, you don't want your ass to be lifting off the seat, because then that's going to be an issue. You're going to be working your lower back, and that's going to lead to injury, and we want to avoid that. The next exercise that I go to is the leg extensions. So leg extensions are going to be primarily focused on the quads. Like I said, I'm always trying to grow these quads, these bad boys, as much as possible. So when I am seated on the leg extension machine, I want to make sure that the part of the machine where there's going to be the rotation, I want to align that with my knees. So that way it ensures that I can get as much focus as possible targeted on my quads. What I like to do as well is I don't actually lean back on the backrest. What I typically do is I lean forward, and when I'm going to be performing the movement, performing the concentric part where I'm extending my leg, what I do typically there is I bring my leg up as high as possible, and I hold and squeeze to make sure that I get as much tension as possible while my leg is fully extended. And then when I come back down in a very controlled fashion. The next exercise that I do is leg curls. So leg curls really focus on the hamstrings and the glutes. So when I perform the leg curl, again, like the leg extension, I want to make sure that the part where the machine is going to be rotating, I want to make sure that that's aligned with my knees. So in terms of performing the movement for the leg extension, I have a machine at the gym which allows me to adjust to make sure that I can get as much range of motion as possible when it comes to performing the leg curl. So things that I like to watch out and really focus on is I want to make sure that my face is either flat down on the bench in front of me, or my face is turned slightly towards the left or to the right. That way I can inhale and exhale. The other thing that I focus on when I'm performing the leg curls is when it comes to performing the concentric part of the movement, meaning bringing up the leg where I'm exercising tension on the hamstrings, is I want to make sure not to raise my ass or raise my body off of the bench. I want to make sure that my body is always firmly placed flat on the bench as much as possible, and really just focus on pulling the legs up to make sure that, you know, I'm targeting the hamstrings as much as possible. If you feel that you are lifting your ass, your glutes up in the air, then that means that you're using your back to compensate for the movement. So really, you should take a look at lowering the weight if that's something that's happening to you while performing the leg curls. All right, guys, so the last exercise that we're going to touch upon today is the calf raises. So you can have multiple variations in terms of performing a calf raise. But typically what I normally use is either the standing or the seated calf raise. So when I'm going to be performing the exercises for the calf raise, what I want to keep in mind is when I'm seated, I want to, if it's a seated one, I want to make sure that my back is straight and that my legs are at a 45-degree angle when it comes to my knees. Now, I want to focus on having the ball of my foot touch the lower, touch the pad of the footrest, And when it comes to performing the exercises, things that I keep in mind is trying to go ahead and get the maximum range of motion. So that being said, for the lower part of the movement, I would have my foot basically folded in a way where I would have my heels go far down to the ground as possible. So that will make sure that I get a good stretch in the calves at the get-go. Now then, when I go ahead and I perform the movement, I go ahead and I push up, but in a steady manner. That way I can push up to the tip of my foot, but always resting on the balls of my foot necessarily. Then at that point in time, I would make sure to go ahead and squeeze the calf to get that maximum tension. I would hold it for perhaps 2 seconds, and then after that I would just lower the weight back down to the original position. So for this, I would just keep in mind that for those of you who say, well, oh, I don't want to work out my calves because I'm not genetically blessed at that area, my calves are just always going to stay tiny. I don't believe that crap. Make sure to go ahead and do your calves because you have to train them in order for them to grow volume. If need be, you can train them maybe twice a week, but you should be at least hitting those calf races at least once per week. So that's it for today that I wanted to share with you all. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, just go ahead and put like the video right below there. And I will see you all next time because I have a lot more to share to you for my upcoming videos. Cheers, guys.